Matthew Barnhill. Man, you look businessman mode with the suspenders and everything. How you doing, young man? He played at Midway High School, played at Alabama, and he joins us now on the show. What are you doing these days?
Appreciate it, Smokey. I am a property tax consultant. I actually work with McGuire Sponsel up here in Dallas. And I'm coming to you live here from Energy Square overlooking Gerald Ford Stadium, where the Baylor Bears take on SMU tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Smokey, honestly, I've been better. Week one was a tough start to my football experience. Of course, our rival Auburn came down to Waco and beat Baylor, and Alabama lost in 4-4, obviously, to Florida State. So we've had better starts to the football season before, but it's only uphill from here, that's for sure.
Matthew, we understand the history, tradition, and what Alabama fans expect. There have been glitches in the road over the years where, Paul Bear Bryant left and Gene Stallings eventually left. And now, of course, Saban leaves. Do you have in your phone like former Letterman, former teammates texting about what they saw last weekend and even carried into last year?
I don't see it too much from the team and the former players. Obviously, you want to support the program as much as possible. But I have seen backlash all over, just about everywhere else in the media, in society. Just about everybody else seems to be, finding a ton of joy out of Alabama's downfall. Obviously, I can come and be the resident Alabama fan that's upset about how their team is going, and that's going to light up a whole bunch of Texas and Texas A&M fans around Texas.
Matthew, what did you think of what you saw against Florida State in that first game? What stood out as maybe something is maybe an overreaction by people, you think? But what are also the very real concerns coming out of what you saw against the Noles?
Yeah, no, I thought we really struggled to find an identity in our offense. There's inconsistency between the pro style, tried to introduce some spread and a little bit of power. Obviously, we started out really strong running the football and seemed to abandon that. On the defensive side, Bama got pushed around, and I thought that it would be a long time before I had to say that, or I did say that. But our vulnerabilities were exposed, and that was Castellanos. He played a great game. But really, we just got pushed along the line of scrimmage and really did not put up a fight. And it was disappointing to see. It's disheartening. And, really we expect more out of that defense moving forward.
So there were some replays of some of – hey, Brandon, when I'm talking – yeah, because there's an echo. There were some replays where it looked like it was not full throttle effort. Does that bother you more than if somebody's just not good enough to play?
Yeah, you can deal with somebody who goes out and tries their hardest and fails. That's a different thing than somebody who quits. And I'm not saying that's what we did, but I'm saying the generality of loafing kind of gives that vibe of quitting, and that's not something that we see. You make somebody quit, and that was the MO of our team for a long time. And just to kind of roll over and let somebody overpower you and take over the fourth quarter of a game. That's not typical to what we see out of Alabama. And that's definitely raising some alarms here moving forward with DeBoer at the helm.
Matthew, I was just curious, how much has what you learned from Nick Saban applied into your life post-college?
Yeah, well, I take it directly here at my job. Actually, I've introduced the culture standards, the 5 pillars: commitment, discipline, effort, toughness, and pride. I was able to take that, make some tweaks to it and apply it to the business world. And we found that people seem to be more motivated, and we've gotten better results out of it. So it's funny to see how there's different applications of that standard, but it goes to show that is a culture of success, and it promotes success. And when you lack in those facets, it can lead to vulnerabilities that get exposed, just like what happened against Florida State week 1.
Does it hurt or does it make you feel good when you hear or see old videos and you lived them because you were there with Nick Saban whether at a weekly press conference a couple of days after the game on a Monday, after a game, win or they didn't lose much, as you know. Does it hurt, or just like, God, man, I was fortunate to be a part of that?
You know, I've started to get to the latter point that you made there, but for a while there, it hurt. It hurt. You know, my wife would go and testify that I played Nick Saban pregame speeches before each game just to get fired up and excited. And, you know, obviously such a special leader. He had a way of getting the most out of everybody, out of promoting a culture and doing anything the way he did everything. And that, you know, it almost chokes you up when you're able to achieve that much and promote such a culture of winning and dominance and that standard. So I've gotten to a point of, wow, it's been an absolute blessing to, you know, have been able to learn from Saban, Coach Saban, and, you know, apply what I learned to my life here. So I've started to move in there. I've started to kind of accept that those days are gone with him as the coach, but you know, I will never, ever look at him without a smile on my face and nothing but gratitude in my heart.
What was the hardest moment he ever, like, you experienced with him, whether individually, position group, or otherwise?
Hardest moment meaning just him being tough in general, or just having to overcome?
Yeah.
I have personally experienced a couple what we call butt chewings here on air from Coach Saban, and they're never fun. Anytime he's in your face, it's a level of just a level of intensity that you can't imagine. But you know, having the ability to do that, you know, that brings the most out of your team. And of course, I saw that applied to many of my other teammates, and just that having the ability to flip on a dime just like that. You're on your toes at all times, and your head's on a swivel.
Greg Byrne, the AD, made comments, it's been a few months ago, that Alabama just doesn't have the ability to maybe keep up with some of the other schools that are have the ability, have the funds, the revenue. It's hard to imagine Alabama doesn't, but at the same time, things have changed. Alabama, they're not going to fall behind the curve, right? The commitment is there. They will find what they need to get this thing off the track, back on the track.
Obviously, that's what I'm hoping for. And, you know, right now, year two, just the beginning of year two, I'd say just to look at this fairly, let's drop the wins and loss and just look at culture. Is the culture remaining at a standard where you're holding yourself accountable, you're holding the team accountable, and you can get the most out of that to promote a championship culture? The second that I see that starting to lack, that's when the warning flags started to go up in my mind, in my eyes. That happened week one. So yeah, the alarms are flashing, the warning flags are up right now. But if he can maintain that culture, then I think we'll be okay. The second that starts to slip, then there will be other issues to address.
So are you worried about whether or not that culture can, you know, kind of be regained? I mean, what do you think is going to happen here with Kalen DeBoer and Alabama the rest of the way? The schedule doesn't get any easier, and that wasn't supposed to be hard with Florida State coming off 2-10.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's going to be okay in my mind. Okay, meaning we're not going to fall into disrepair. But I think that Kalen DeBoer has probably heard enough from everybody else to justify me not giving an opinion on his future there. But I think that that's going to light a fire under the team. I don't think that Kalen DeBoer is going to roll over. I believe in him, and I think that he can turn it around. But, you know, there is a point where there are cracks in the armor, there are chinks in the armor that are starting to get exposed. And if those don't get addressed, I think that you know, there's a point where you lose the fan base, and I don't want to see him get to that point.
So you didn't enjoy Auburn coming into Waco, your hometown, then, and taking care of business against Baylor, huh?
I sure did not. You know, obviously Baylor is the second school that I root for. My whole family seemed to have gone to Baylor at some point. But Auburn coming in, beating Baylor, it's never a good thing. I'm not a big fan of Auburn when it comes to football, obviously. But, I was hoping Baylor would get the win, start off the season strong. But, I hope they're able to get some shock in the win column tomorrow against SMU.
Yeah, and that's not going to be easy after the loss to Auburn. So, last thing, you've now been out of the game. What? How many years? What was the last time you were your last year at Alabama?
It's been 5 years now.
Has
Wow.
it really been 5 years? My goodness.
It sure has.
Yeah. Okay. So 5 years out of the business. Do you have any aches and pains from when you played the game at that level?
Luckily, I was able to escape with just a shoulder. We were able to fix that a couple times. But I feel it in the shoulder. Everything else is good. I'm still walking fine. I hope that everything seems fine in the head. My wife might have something else to say about that. But yeah, I'm feeling great. Things are good. And I really appreciate you having me on here. I hope all is well with you as well.
Hey, you too, buddy. Good to see you again. By the way, your high school alma mater's off to a 2-0 start with explosive play. Not sure about what they're doing against the run, but they're putting up a lot of points.
I know that was explosive. Last I checked, I saw the win against Round Rock Westwood. Great start for the Panthers. We're always going to root them on, and we hope that they can get up to the standard of what we left it years ago as well.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate your time. Former Alabama Midway High School linebacker,